You can see Bitcoin started to get weak here. So if we can break underneath this level for the whole session, this position could open up an enormous opportunity for us. So we're fully out of our trade. Was able to lock in on the second part of the trade, 3,766. So if you don't already know this, I'm a day trader. So first thing I'm doing every morning is doing analysis to figure out whether the market is more likely to move up or down for the entire day as a whole. This is something called daily bias. And this is important because then I can go in and find smaller trade opportunities along the day. And if I can find those small trade opportunities in the same direction of the overall market, those opportunities can get really, really big while allowing me to keep my risk contained. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at for today. Okay, so what I've done here is analyze this uptrend, and I've identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves of this trend, and now we potentially have what's called an ABC structure. And I'm going to show you a little bit more along the day of how this works on a trading application. But additionally, what I'm seeing overall is that this trend is now being retested at this point again. Okay, we can either break to the upside here over this line, or if we break it down under this level, this is going to open up opportunities for me to trade in the down direction for the day. So I've marked off these 2 red levels. So whatever direction this breaks is basically going to be the direction where I try to really let these trades run. Now I can take trades in both directions, but if it's in the direction of the overall daily bias, those are going to be the ones that I'm really going to let run to see if I can make really big profit on those. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is go over, get our desk fully set up for the day, look at a few other things. It's about to turn 9:30. This is where the New York Stock Exchange, which is literally right down there, opens up. It's going to drive a ton of movement and volatility into the market, which is really going to open up some of the best trade opportunities. So I have to be ready for this. So hopefully we have a good trading day. Today is particularly special. Yesterday we hit 1 million YouTube subscribers, which is insane to think about. Okay, additionally tonight we have dinner with Umar Ashraf, who's the creator and founder of TradeZella. So I'm hoping today's a good day. Now I'm going to hop into the charts. It's about 9:15 right now, so we got 15 minutes until the market opens. Okay, we're going to get fully set up, and then we're going to find and take trade number 1. All right, so it's turning 9:30 right now, so we have to start looking out for opportunities. But this is how I have my charts set up. So right over here, this is Trading View, where I'm doing all of my analysis on the day to find these trade opportunities. Here is where my exchange is, where I'm actually going to be executing these trades. And then right here is my trade journal, as well as my checklist for me to follow in the mornings on the session. So I've already done all of my daily requirements. Now I just have to follow these steps whenever I see a setup that follows my exact rule set, and then I basically just have to take the trades from there. The more systematic that I can make it with my trading, the better my result is going to be. Now, the pattern that I'm going to be looking for is going to consist of a few things. Okay, one of the most important things that I'm going to be following is basically evaluating trends like this, waiting for those trends to break into a direction, and then targeting these boxes right here, which are called fair value gaps. If this doesn't make much sense, it's going to, as I'm starting to take some of these trade examples and show you what I'm doing. Also looking at a lot of different things, but to keep it simple, I'm going to be targeting these high probability areas, keeping my risk contained. That way, if the trade moves in my direction, I'm able to make, for example, 5x what I'm risking, stack those up over the course of the day, and hopefully come out on top. I'm going to be risking $1,000 per trade in hopes to make anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, $7,000 per trade. So let's see if we can find some trade opportunities. Okay, so we just had the New York open. You can see this dotted line here is where the market opened. And right now the market is aggressively moving down. Okay, this is going to open up a potential opportunity for us. So as expected, we could retest this line, and from there, if we get a bounce, we can play it. If it breaks, we can play this way to the downside as well. And this is on Bitcoin in general. Okay, what I'm doing as a day trader is I'm taking smaller pairs that react off of Bitcoin, and I'm finding ways to be able to enter those to be able to make money. And oftentimes what I can look for is areas where price had trouble breaking through before. So you can see pushed up, failed off of it, pushed up, failed off of it, pushed up, failed off of it, broke above it, and is coming down to test that. Okay, so if this lower trend level on Bitcoin can test that lower line of this area where price can't break through, at the same time that we're testing this zone, which is at about 185, this can be a really good opportunity for me to buy in and be able to trade it in the opposite direction, so long as it actually follows my specific trade rules. So now I'm sort of waiting for the market to develop so that I can get into the first trade of the day. Okay, so we just got a response off of that level and a response off of this level as well. So this is opening up the first opportunity for me. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a position now off of this candle. A little bit higher risk, but I'm okay to take it out of the morning because this is a big opportunity for a reversal. So this as a day trader is where I'm going to be setting up my positions. So I can basically use this indicator that I've designed to be able to set up my position. It tells me exactly how much to enter with, and then I can go ahead and submit my order. Okay, so I've looked at all of my different confluences. I was waiting for this area. So if price wants to come down and pull into this area, I'm going to have an open order ready to go. And now it basically just turns into a waiting game. All right, so we're into our first position. Let's see if the market responds off of this candle now and gets a push up. That's what I'm hoping to see. So I want to see a positive response now. Looks like we're getting it initially here. So hopefully this can follow through. What I'm looking for next is basically for this level to get broken so that then I can start to reduce risk. All right, that's exactly the move that I wanted to see. We got this really, really nice candle off of that level. We broke over this area. So if we get this to push a little bit further through that, this is where I'm going to actually start to take some risk off the table. So if this continues, I'm actually going to move my risk up so that I can't lose any money. All right, so unfortunately on this trade, when the price came into this area, it happened so quickly. Okay, I only got partially filled on my position. So sometimes there's not enough orders to fully get you in. So I have a little bit lighter of a position than I would like to have. I'm only up 800. I should be up well over 1,000 by now. So a little bit unfortunate that we're a little light on this one, but still getting a really nice response off of this area. Okay, once we get up to this blue line, basically what that's going to do is get me down to so that I'm doubling what I was risking on the trade. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be looking to take off half the position to be able to lock in some profit and then let the rest of the trade run. Considering I'm a little light on this trade, I think I'm probably just going to let the whole thing run. But what I am going to do is reduce my risk now to break even. So now I have 0 risk on the table. I have an alert for when I double my position or if I get stopped out. This ends up pushing way to the downside. And the good thing about day trading is now that I have things set up, I can basically walk away and let the market work its magic. Whether that works in my favor or not, we have to see, but that's part of the game. So we've controlled our risk, picked a good entry. We're moving in our direction. Now it's time to let the market play out. All right, so I gave some time for this trade to sort of develop here. I'm starting to get a bit of a response off of this level. So if we're going to trade up for the rest of the day, this level is going to probably hold and continue up. Otherwise, I would expect a pretty sharp move to the downside, in which case, once again, we have no risk on the table. I would really love to see how this trade is going to run overall. So I'm not going to be locking in any profit here. I'm going to be looking to take profit up into this area here. So I'm just going to keep letting this trade breathe. Okay, so this trade is starting to look a little bit weak. Generally, we still seem to be trending down for the session. Now, what I was hoping is we'd be able to get sort of a pop, and then if the markets were going to reverse for the day, I would be in at a good area. We picked a really good technical area, but it looks like we're starting to continue to break to the downside. So I'm going to go ahead and take this position off the table for about $500 in profit. Then we're going to move on to find trade number 2. Okay, so what's cool about trading is all I have to do is generally follow the ebb and flow of the market. A lot of people with trading have issues because they get hung up on being right or having the right ideas. All I'm doing is following where the market wants to go. So we just broke underneath this trend level here. I'm getting a sell signal. So all I have to do is go ahead and put an order in to now be able to play into this level. So if price pushes up into here, I'm going to look for an entry. So I'm going to go ahead and put my order in and we'll see if we can get filled. Really, my hope is, considering this level couldn't break a few times, that this price will come in, fill me into this area, and then get resistance off of that level and eventually dump if the market's going to continue trending down for the day. So if it continues moving up, that's one thing. Once again, as a day trader, my job is to play whatever direction the market is giving us and letting the ones run if it's in the direction of our daily buys, which right now still we're kind of in no man's land where we haven't broken underneath this level yet or above this level. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm playing both directions and following the opportunity. All right, looks like we're getting a push up into our entry. We got our orders filled. Let's see if we get a flip now off of this level and if we were right. All right, so we're getting a response off of the level that I anticipated. So let's see if we get a full push down now underneath this level. Okay, so initial response is good. Now we just have to see if the market is going to continue to trend down. The thing about day trading is you want to get really good technical entries. Like, I knew that this level would be important, which is why I entered. Now, if the market unravels, we're already in a position with our risk contained, generally getting in good areas. Whether I was right is a different story. All right, so the market's actually continuing to sort of drift up here. So it's moving towards my stop loss. Looks like we could close this trade out for a full contained loss. So this is going to get stopped out. All right, so we're out for a full contained loss. Okay, so just to sort of reinforce, you're not going to be right every single time. It's really about putting yourself in positions so that if you are right, like one of the major things that differentiates professional traders from people who are trading with emotions is the fact that if you understand the statistics behind this, you put very little significance on the importance of each individual trade, because all you're really doing is adding data to a set where you know what the averages are going to give you over time. And that's basically how you're able to make money over time. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is log this into my journal, and then I'm going to let the market sort of break out into a direction, pick a direction, and then we're going to look for opportunities and find trade number 3. All All right, so I gave some time for the market to sort of shake out. We tried to push over these highs, but now we broke aggressively back under. So I'm just going to continue to try to follow this trend. Okay, so we just got into a position here. So what I was really looking for was this candle to aggressively push underneath this level. And now we're breaking underneath it, testing the top part of it. So I'm expecting for price to basically respond off of this area that it sort of had a problem with for the rest of the session, break underneath this low. You can see Bitcoin started to get weak here. So if we can break underneath this level for the whole session, this position could open up an enormous opportunity for us. Okay, so now I'm just waiting for this low to be broken here. All right, so we're starting to get a capitulation now off of this level, a break underneath this low. So I'm going to go ahead and start reducing risk here over this high. I want to be a little bit aggressive with the risk reduction just because we do have a loss on the table here. So I really do want to lock in some profit as well. If we breach this level at 1 to 2, I'm going to go ahead and take partials off as well. Okay, so basically I'm going to close out half of my position, lock in some profit, and then see if the rest sort of wants to develop. We finally got a nice move down. You can see we did get that response off of that key level that I was watching. And now we're starting to push down underneath these lows. So I'm going to go ahead and take half of the position off here. Okay, so I just locked in about 1400 on the trade. I'm going to keep the other 1400 open in this position just because this is the area that we got long before earlier in the morning. And this is going to be a critical area. If it breaks underneath it and wants to crack a new low here, obviously that's going to be really good. Now, realistically, what I'm going to be doing is sort of just trend following this, letting this trade sort of breathe, see if we can have a runner for the rest of the day. So right now I'm going to eat lunch and we'll see what happens with the rest of the position. Good, we locked in 1400. All right, so we're starting to get a nice move down. We're up a total of 1,300, 2K, so $4,300, and we're still dropping. So I've reduced my risk down into this area, which basically means that now if this comes up, I will get out of the trade for a smaller win. And if this wants to continue dropping, I can sort of trend follow this along the way and just see how low it can push. And sort of just follow it if we get momentum to the downside. But right now, I'm gonna step outside for a bit, get some lunch, and hopefully we have a really big trade to come back to. All right, so coming back from lunch, we are taking a nice move down here. We're up right around 5K total. We just swept this low level here. So I'm just going to continue walking my stop loss down now. Now what I want to see is if the market can sort of really melt off. Like this is what I'm talking about when it's like, you know, you have to keep your losses small here, but if you can let them run, when you can play into the direction like we thought, bearish direction overall. Okay, if this breaks that level and continues moving down for the day, this is going to absolutely dump. So we'll see what happens, but trade looks really good. All right, so I'm gonna start walking my stop loss into the money now, even further, because we could get some sort of bounce from this area. So I'm just gonna keep locking in profit. What I'm looking at now is what we were looking at before. If this wants to dump out of this level, that's amazing. But we are reaching potential support levels where the price could bounce off of because of this area. So I wanna see how that responds and sort of continue to reduce my risk along the way. I'm gonna go ahead and walk my stop loss a little bit lower here if we respond off of this. If not, I think we're gonna take an exit on this one. So we're fully out of our trade. Okay, so probably was a smarter idea to take profit off at that bottom. Okay, so we did start to get some support off of that area. And you can see at the midpoint here, this is where price is starting to respond off of. So maybe I mistimed the exact bottom by a little bit. I wanted to see if we would break that level, which would have been a huge trade, but still was able to lock in on the second part of the trade 5.5x what I was risking on each individual trade, which gives us a total profit on this trade of 3,766. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and journal this in. Okay, so even though I was only right 66% of the time today, I'm still able to be up $2,600 so far, and it's about lunchtime. Okay, so I'm gonna step away from the charts for a few minutes, let the market develop, and then we're gonna look for trade number 4. Okay, so if you notice, Ethereum has sort of been consolidating along this area for some time, and there wasn't really any official trade opportunities until this level was just broken. So as soon as price dipped underneath that level and came back to test this area, this is where I just stabbed into my first entry. So I have a new trade open right now. Stop loss is over this high. So I'm basically looking for this low of day now that we've had consolidation and rejection off of this trend to see a continuation to the downside. All right, so once again, I'm waiting for price now that I've selected this key area to be able to drop down. I want to 2x the capital, take half off, lock in one factor of risk, and then we're going to let the rest play out. Hopefully we have a dump off into the afternoon session. It looks like this could be a big break because if I'm looking at our multi-time frame analysis, we got rejected off of this high again. So price came down, got rejected, which means now price is likely to come test this lower level. And if it's going to test it again and break it, this could be a big break. Okay, we see Solana just broke through that support level that it caught off of earlier. So yeah, the market looks like it could get some weakness now. So I wanted to play into this and see if we can get a dump off. So I will be holding this trade and reducing my risk now here. Okay, so we have a risk-free trade, just waiting for our 1 to 2. Now we wait again. Price came up, tagged us out for break even, so we didn't quite get the sell off yet, but I feel it coming. So I'm gonna go ahead and journal this as a break even, and then we're gonna see if this move in the market can open up any sort of other technical areas. Okay, so the indicator on my chart actually went from a short signal to a buy signal here with this diamond. So I'm actually long here on this trend, hoping that we break to the upside. It's literally in limbo right now, so either one is gonna work out or the other is gonna work out, but this is a good technical level, so I am long here. So we're gonna see how this goes out. I have my risk contained underneath this level, and I'm hoping for a nice push up. So we're waiting for this high to break, and we're waiting for this area that was just responded and rejected to potentially be broken through, and then the trade could move up for the session. So hoping we get a nice push. If this trade works, that means that I would have got stopped out of the other one and vice versa. So that's the thing, like if one moves in one direction, you're basically just playing a game of getting into good technical levels. This was a good technical level, and this was a good technical level. So, you know, it really depends on which way the market is going to move now, and that's not something as day traders that we can know for certain. So we have to put ourselves in high probability situations. So let's see if this trade carries out. So we're getting our push up over highs here. This is the level it has to break. It tested it once. If it can break through it here, it's going to break through it in a big way, I bet. If not, it's going to get absolutely cooked on the rejection, and that's that. Yeah, I saw that coming. Just goes to show you though how important these levels actually are. I like knew where it was going to have a rejection. Now it's just like, does it beat it out or not, right? All right, so it looked like we were having a bit of an unfortunate situation, and then actually price soaked up all these orders at this critical area and then actually flipped off this level. So now we're getting a buy signal in here with a fair value gap. So I do really need a big push up to be able to take half the position off. So I'm still kind of waiting on that. But this exact line here is where I need one of these candles to push up, make a close over. That way I can reduce risk because it's confirming a new uptrend, and I can start to scoop my stop loss up. Once again, just sort of shaving the risk off of the trade that I'm in. Yeah, I'll stop talking. Whatever happens, happens, and I'm here for it. All right, so not really taking the turn that we wanted here. Turns out that the ETH short from up here was the move to make. So I'm actually going to get on this trend break here in this sort of resistance. I'm going to hope we can get a pop up, maybe take a short position on this now that we have momentum to the downside confirmed. That's honestly the name of the game of trading sometimes. So we missed our short position before off of here, which would have been really nice, but we did get a kind of a whiplash back up. So what I'm noticing here is this level, and this level was just broken. Additionally, if we look on our larger time frame, we're still sitting in this support level on Bitcoin, and Solana is bouncing off of this critical area. I'm expecting a potential bounce later into the session here. So I'm hoping that price is able to pull back down, retest this level, get me long, and then I'm maybe able to take advantage of a nice push to the upside. Okay, we have a 40% win rate right now. We had one nice trade, but then a bunch of losses. So we're only up 1,300 on the day right now. Honestly, not bad, but not where I want to be. So I'm hoping that we're able to play a nice move here. All right, so it looks like we're missing it at this current moment by just a small amount, which is definitely a bit frustrating. Okay, so I thought we were going to miss this one, but we are getting a pullback down into this level. So I'm guessing we should probably get filled right about now. All right, so we are getting a nice response off of our entry, which is nice to see. So we're sort of catching support in at this consolidation area. So one of these areas is going to break, and if it breaks the upside, I also want to be part of that. We also got on Solana here on a 4-hour, this area, which you can see prices come into, rejected off. So I'm expecting to potentially get a flip and reversal. So I want to start getting into general areas where I can play into that. Good technical response off of here. Now we're waiting for a break over this high. So hopefully we get a nice push. All right, so finally getting a nice response. All right, so this is our important level here. Price is starting to come up to it. See if we can break through this level. We're up 2,700. Really, really good entry. I'm really hoping this one pays off. It would be so nice to have this really come to fruition. I want to reduce risk, but also I want to let it breathe. So we are going to move our stop loss to break even again. Really want a nice push off of this. So I'm going to go ahead and take half off here. All right, so I just locked in 1,200. Okay, so my risk is reduced to 0. So we've locked in 1,200. See if we can continue to take a nice push up here. So we're getting a really, really good push. Now we're up. We're about 3,500 on this position. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm basically just trend following this. If we see a continuation and a break up, I can let the profit continue to accumulate. But now I've basically locked in 2x what I'm risking, as well as the 1,200 that I already have locked in. So this is a completely risk-free trade. We're up pretty nicely. Right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this trade run. I'm going to hit the gym. Then it's time to get dressed and get ready for dinner with Umar. So hopefully we get a nice push in this trade. All right, so this trade's moving really nicely in our direction. I went ahead and moved my stop loss up here. So I'm really just trailing underneath this low. If we break this high, I'm just going to continue to let it run. Otherwise, if this wants to break down and close us out, we're good to go, basically. We've locked in a lot of profit. We're up almost 4,000 in total now. So I'm hoping we get a nice little push, and then I'm going to get showered and changed for dinner. All right, looks like it's coming down to take us out here. All right, so we are out fully. So on that second half, we locked in 1 to 4, basically. Really, really nice trade. Okay, so all in all, we were able to close out on this position 3,300. All right, this was trade number 6 on the day, bringing our winning percentage back up to 50%, which is exciting. We are now up on the day $4,600 in profit. Watch, this is going to continue to run. Honestly, this can continue to run into the session, but I wanted to make sure that we locked in some profit on the day. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to shower up. I'm going to keep my screeners open. Maybe we get into another trade before dinner, and we'll see if we can try to find trade number 7. But even with a 50% win rate today so far, we're still at $4,600 in profit. That's the name of the game. That's what you want to be doing. So good so far. We'll see what we can find next. All right, so we're all changed up, closed out our trade. We're off to head to dinner now. Good trading day so far. When I come home, we're going to see if we can find maybe some other trades as well. But for right now, time to enjoy dinner. A little bit. I'm starting to get more into it, yeah.
Yeah, picked up quite a bit, and then after.
Wow, so you actually found parking here, which is...
I didn't find parking. It's there's no parking. Yeah, just right there, right?
It's time. We were talking about his first video back, and he was like, I think I'm just going to get a camera and just talk about it. And I was like, actually, it makes sense, and here we are driving home. So
I think you inspired me to make a comeback on YouTube, so it's going to happen.
Let's go, man. There's people taking trading. There's people taking... So I'm back home, had a sick night with Umar. Really, really cool and grateful for him. He's an OG, super sick, so shout out to him. He's gonna be dropping YouTube videos, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Right as I was coming in, I was able to find this Ethereum short here. So I have a short signal. We're breaking under a critical trend level, and we came right back up into a trend retest, which is what I look for, into a fair value gap. So I got an entry, actually sniped it beautifully. We're up about 400 right now. It's obviously extremely late, but I'm shooting a video, so I figured it would be epic. Just to cap off an epic day to see if we can hit one more banger trade. So see if we can get a drop down on ETH, and we'll take a look at our stats for the day. Okay, but you can see once you start getting good at picking these critical levels, that's where we can have price action really sell off in a hurry. And these critical levels are really important. All right, so I've gone ahead and reduced my risk to break even. I think I'm going to continue to move my stop loss into profit here. I might actually just take the trade off because it's late. We're up about 2K right now, but like we're really dumping, so I kind of want to hold it. I'll probably just trail this candle. 2,400, put our stop loss at 36.17. I'm gonna play it really tight, but just keep walking it down into the momentum. So we're all out of that trade. May continue moving down, but it's also getting late. It's 12:30 in the evening. Okay, so we got terrible slippage on the fill on that. It really had to fill us on that and then do this. It is what it is. You guys get the point. All right, so let's take a look at the results for the whole day and how it went down and what we ended up making at the very end. So first trade that we took out of the morning, we were playing into this critical level. We got an amazing entry, was able to reduce risk, and then eventually took the trade off. Okay, but we made a small win, about $287 on that trade. Okay, the next trade I was playing in the short direction. I wanted to get in short right here. We got a beautiful underside retest. It didn't end up breaking down, came back up through our stop level, ended up accidentally losing a little bit more than I wanted to, and I lost $1,364 on this trade. So definitely sucked. Okay, next trade, we were able to get a better entry. Once again, critical level was broken. We tapped into our key area. We're able to trade this all the way down for a total of $3,766 on this trade. Next trade I was playing into this area. We did get our flip in a response off of this level. Got a push down, but I ended up letting this sort of run, hoping for a big sell-off. Okay, and price came back up and filled me for a break even. I actually lost 171 on the trade. Okay, next trade was a little bit more risk on. I ended up getting a good entry here, but we never were able to reduce risk. Then candle came through and stopped us out for a negative 1,071. But I think it's important to understand all of these technical areas. I had a chance of it working out and playing big in my favor. And anytime I was wrong, I was always taking the trade off and cutting the risk. Okay, and you can see for trade number 6, the same was true and it paid off for us. Okay, so once again, I found this overall trend break. We had a buy indicator right into a key level, missed my first entry, price came beautifully down, tagged exactly where I was targeting. I had my risk minimized, and then price pushed up and then continued to trail, and we took it off for $3,307. Okay, and then to end off the night, I found this trade when I came home. Took a little cheeky entry in there. Could have been up a lot more money right now. Market's selling off, which is unfortunate. But we made a small profit on this trade. After slippage and fees, made about $887, which brings us to a total of 7 trades on the day, 57% win rate. So I was realistically only right about half the time I was taking a trade. It's really not about being right or stroking your ego. It's all about being able to contain the risk when you're wrong and let your winners run. Speaking of letting winners run, I wish that we let this winner run, but it's also 1 a.m. So after all said and done, we really had 2 trades doing the heavy lifting, while the rest were either small losses or small wins, for a total of $5,530 on the day. Yesterday I traded, I made 11.7K, which was one of the biggest trades that I've had with this strategy. But I wanted to show you a realistic look inside the day of a day trader and a little bit about what I do on a daily basis, and truthfully what's possible from locking in and learning a skill like this to be able to basically transform my whole life. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to watch other videos, I'll link some right here. But until next time, I will see you all in the next one.